It's in the neighborhood of Hawthorne.
Mike, do these police choppers have technology like what Desmond is using now? Even
Yes.
if they're far away at miles away, they can still track the car?
So yes, and funnily enough, the technology that the police helicopters have is almost identical to the technology we have in SkyCal. And forgive us, we're struggling with Desmond's picture there a little bit. It's coming in, backing out now. But they have essentially the same technology we do. And the thing is that technology is great, but it is very reliant on how close you can be to the target that you're looking at. So it's most accurate when we're like this, right on top of it. The further away from it you get, the more difficult it would be to kind of keep that technology being as accurate as it can be as we kind of move through traffic here. Really no regard for public safety, guys, as he kind of crosses over there.
Yeah, and he was going through residential streets, and the cruiser, they're right behind him, really staying close, and oftentimes they back off to try to get them to slow down, but in this case, it almost looks like he's ready to get up close enough to do a pit maneuver, but certainly not the perfect place for that.
And we'll see if they're going to do that because, again, this is a shooting suspect. So LAPD doesn't always love to spin the suspect that potentially has a gun around so that they're facing them. That's always a concern of theirs. So there is a world here where they may just let this play out and see if this guy stops. If he doesn't stop, of course, we have seen situations where they could potentially bring in Metropolitan Division with armored vehicles. Certainly we're not to that point yet, but I would be surprised if we see pit maneuvers, potentially spike strips if the officers can get adequate cover to get behind a car or a wall or something where they can toss those out without worrying about getting, in the line of fire or potentially struck by the suspect here.
Yeah, going now 33, 32 miles an hour there, going over some speed bumps. And Mike, just based on what we saw earlier, going through a stop sign here, the tight turns, cutting corners, speeding up, trying to get away from police, it's clearly someone who does not want to.
Yeah, I mean, they've made no, look, we've not seen them drive necessarily. I mean, of course, running from the police is dangerous. They have gone through some traffic lights, but, speeds have been relatively normal. We haven't seen, any crazy 90, 100 mile an hour on surface streets type speeds. This person is adamant in not stopping, clearly, but we're not seeing the kind of almost desperation we see with some people who are obviously trying to get away from this. And we're listening to the police radios here, and they are, kind of actively calling this out. You've got the ground units there, the right side of your screen's video from a bit earlier, as we work on getting Desmond's signal back in. It's kind of in and out. So this is video, I believe, from earlier. So we just want to make sure we're clear with our viewers on that as we work on getting the Desmond signal back here. But we're still, I can tell you, kind of circling the same area in Hawthorne, which almost makes me wonder, guys, every time we see that happen, we wonder if this person is familiar with this neighborhood, if they know somebody that lives here, if they're kind of looking for an out, because we've gone kind of east and west through these areas in Hawthorne for a significant amount of time now. But you've got two police helicopters in the sky. Left-hand side of your screen is back live now with Desmond. You've got a lot of people that have eyes on this as we look at these live pictures here. Now kind of crossing, Des, it looks like maybe the city of Inglewood. Did we cross Crenshaw there?
Around here with these lower speeds and this kind of pattern here, it could be an opportunity for spike strips. Of course, the possibly armed and dangerous thing can complicate that, but we have seen it in the past. It can definitely be a way to diffuse the situation. And while we don't have the high speeds, the suspect's really not slowing down at all around these stop signs and stop lights. And with traffic, increasing, just heightening the chances here of a pretty bad collision with somebody else. So, zigging and zagging all over the place on the wrong side of the road at times as well.
Ooh.
Man, that's a fairly major street right there. Yeah, that was a pretty close call there. So, and I definitely concur, LAPD definitely seems to want to stay really close to the suspect and not back off. And a big part of that probably is what Mike was just talking about with these potentially new LAPD restrictions. Yeah, they're stopping there kind of for a second, maybe like someone was kind of taking the pursuit there on the sidewalk. But they really need, if they really want this suspect, they're going to need to keep very close proximity to them, because if they go to a place where the helicopters are not able to follow, that is going to give the suspect a really big advantage, and that is how we've seen some of these suspects get away from that.
Well, and we can't help but notice the tinted windows, and so it makes it really hard to
Yeah.
see. Do we know if it is just the driver that's in this car, or is there a chance that there's someone else in the car with them?
Yeah, I mean, they don't, it doesn't sound like they definitively know. We've not heard too much mention of additional suspects in there, but of course, that's always something they're looking after. Now, again, because we do know that LAPD officers spotted this suspect, it's unclear what kind of look they were able to get. Were they behind the suspect? Was it a plate? Did they drive past them and see them? So we're trying to sort all of that out. But, we're already getting texts to the desk here, people that have seen it. Gabriel just sent me a message saying I went right past his job at Crenshaw on 135th. So the more we start circling these areas, the more you will start to get people noticing what's going on, especially when we're in the same area. And you see the number on the screen. If you've got a question about the chase or you see it come through your area, we want to hear from you. 818-221-2222. Joe from Whittier is telling me that he heard that he was driving on the sidewalk for a bit. We heard that as well when they came through a parking lot there, that he very quickly did that. So, but now we're still, we're working our way south a bit, so we're getting slightly out of the area, and now we're back to the west. So we're still not far from where this guy has been kind of circling, which of course always makes us wonder, exactly where he is and if he has anybody that he knows in this area. What's he trying to do? Wrong side of the road again, or not wrong side, but just trying to get around that traffic there, going through that red light.
Mike, going back to something you said earlier about these restrictions
Yeah.
on LAX, I mean, we always know that the flight path and there's the temporary restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
you can't go through the airspace. Is this something new with LAPD?
So we're working on sorting that out. It actually was brought to our attention just this week when our helicopters were having a more than usual difficult time as we pull into the parking lot here at Crenshaw on 147th Street. We were having a more difficult time than normal transitioning through the LAX airspace, even not during a pursuit coming out through the alley now. So we started inquiring about it, and that's when we've kind of learned that they're tightening up some of the safety parameters around LAX. Remember, we've told you about the issues with the NTSB kind of calling out the FAA about not taking airspace safety kind of seriously enough. So it's unclear if it's in relation to that or exactly what. But I did hear the LAPD helicopters mention, hey, if this goes north of the 105, we're not going to be able to follow him through that airspace. So it is something that I think everybody's a little bit more cognizant of right now.
And something to worry about is not only if this driver knows that and he
Yeah.
does go into the airspace and he may get free, it's just like pulling into a parking garage or something like
Totally.
that, right? Where all of a sudden the pursuit's basically off.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because he's almost skirted the airspace, right? He came down the 110, never got off the 110. The 110 through that area is in the Class Bravo airspace, but he comes through the 110 and then goes south of the 105, gets out of the airspace, and is really just hanging around in this Hawthorne, Inglewood kind of Lawndale area. And if he were just, if he happened to cross the 105, then that would be a whole other issue. But he's not. He's just kind of content going in circles around here, which of course, and even that, Des, is that the front window even tinted? You can't even see in there.
It kind of seems like it, right? This is something fairly new we've been seeing now. I've been seeing all over Los Angeles and definitely in some of these pursuits. Yeah, I was trying to take that opportunity to see through the windshield, see if we can see a passenger in there, and it was a lot darker than normal there. So it was tough to see. I don't think I saw anyone in the passenger seat, but it's just another complicating factor. We try to have LAPD ascertain or any law enforcement agency how many people are they
Yeah. Oh, wrong side.
Mike, and as this driver's driving becomes more and more erratic
Yeah.
and more aggressive, does that mean that the LAPD is also changing their tactics?
Well, it could. I mean, I'll tell you that the wrong side of the road, is almost guaranteed to get a pursuit canceled. I mean, the LAPD just really, really, really doesn't like to do that, and for obvious reasons. Thankfully, this guy, as Desmond said, thought better of it and got back into a parking lot and kind of out of that wrong side of the road scenario pretty quickly here. But that will make them, kind of rethink this, and certainly LAPD, especially if it's on a freeway, they're not going to chase this guy wrong way on a roadway. So, kind of narrowly coming through that intersection. But again, he's keeping his speeds, wrong side of the road again here, and double to get around that car that stopped in the middle lane there. And look at that LAPD, that southeast unit, right behind him, following him over there that way. So again, this is a person that they obviously don't want to lose eyes on and want to stay right behind him. And you've still got that southeast unit that has been doing this. And guys, I want to let you know too, we were just getting some updated information. This started at Imperial in Vermont. So Imperial in Vermont is basically right there where the 110 and the 105 come together, just the northwest corner of the 110-105 intersection. So it's, it was close to where it is. And we'll see, and I don't know, so we still have 2 police helicopters on this, and then I see 2 additional police helicopters coming. So they may be coming to relieve the 2 that are overhead so that they can keep double coverage on this. We'll see how that shakes out, but we are monitoring that as well.
And it's interesting to see that this person has really not really been using excessive speed, but definitely driving reckless, certainly dangerous through so many of these residential streets. I mean, fortunately, we have not seen a lot of people out on the street.
Yeah.
Whether it's pedestrians on the sidewalk or just, people just out enjoying a nice afternoon. So that's the bright side of this, and the fact that this person's going slower. But I don't see the car now.
Those trees.
Under the tree canopy.
On the roadway right now. Well, it looks like
Oh, there he is, wrong side, yep, or right in the middle.
Wrong side into the center divider here, coming up to a busy intersection with a lot of
Oof.
congestion, and kind of on the gas, just blasting right through the pedestrians there in the middle of that roadway. So now southbound on Western, that was the Western Elsinore, definitely a congested intersection at the time of the day, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, rush hour halt now beginning here midweek in the LA basin, and I don't have to tell you how congested a lot of these intersections can be. So, what is the suspect doing? Are they on the phone with someone right now? Do they know they're headed to jail by the time this is all over, or what exactly the strategy is? But just seems to be content to parade around here, a very dangerous parade, and wrong side of the road once again, and it's especially dangerous.
Wow.
That divider, because if he's imminently going to get into a head-on collision, he's going to have a lot of trouble getting back to the right side of the road to avoid that. So you definitely hate to see a situation like that. But back out here onto 135th, another street that we've seen the suspect on here many times.
And Mike, you were talking a little earlier about how the officers don't like to go on the wrong side of the road following a pursuit suspect like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. And in fact, if it's for any extended period of time, it's not uncommon to hear them discontinue or cancel the pursuit because of that reason, because it's just so dangerous. As I mentioned, specifically if they're on the freeway, you won't see LAPD generally go wrong way on the freeway. And we've talked about this before, and I know this question gets brought up, but when LAPD chases it, there is the watch commander at Southeast Station that is listening to this and monitoring everything that's going on. They're listening to the radio. They're certainly watching it on television to get eyes on it. So they're weighing everything, risk versus reward. And when we talk about a shooting suspect, that is one of the kind of the top wants here for the LAPD to chase this person and be really intent on trying to capture this person. And again, we've not heard that the car has come back stolen or anything like that. And the fact that they were able to identify this person as a shooting suspect, either by the vehicle's license plate or by simply recognizing the person that's inside of the car, they likely know who this person is and likely have an idea of what potential other issues that they've had in the past. Is there a rap sheet on this person? Is it they wanted for more than just the shooting? They likely know a lot more about the person that they're chasing than we do, especially given the fact that the car has not been reported stolen as far as we know. And that gives them a big advantage of knowing who they're chasing. We've seen all the times, close call there through the intersection. We've seen a ton of times here where LAPD is chasing a stolen vehicle and they know nothing about the person behind the wheel. So, at least in this situation, they have the advantage of potentially having an identifying the person that's in it and being able to know that.
Yeah, so Mike, if they know who this person is, they most likely know where he lives. So based
Yeah.
on what we've seen in the past, if he is sticking to an area that's familiar to him, could he be trying to head home? Is he planning something with someone else to try to create some sort of confusion, or maybe he could get away? I mean, there's all these different types of scenarios, and we are looking at a possible shooting suspect. That makes it all the more dangerous.
It really does, and the fact is that in the nighttime we're able to see in a little bit. You can see the glow of a phone if they're trying to talk to somebody. You can see those things. During the day, and especially Des, you've tried like 2 or 3 times now to see inside of that, and it's impossible. That front window is really dark.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's just too much glare and the glass is just too dark to be able to see if there's anyone in the passenger seat. But from what I could tell, it seems like this is the only person inside. I did just hear the helicopter overhead say that they saw them throw something out
Oh.
the window back in Van Essen 139. We know that, well, look at this, waiting to get the opportunity to get on the wrong side of the road right here. And okay, now it's northbound on Hoover here. But so, yeah, tossing something out the window. So many times in these pursuits that ends up being a weapon. So definitely worth wondering if that's what it was. But the police are almost always privy to that. And we also have multiple law enforcement helicopters over here. They did just switch out of at least one of the helicopters as well, get a fresh set of eyes, probably a fresh paint and tool on this. So we are trending northbound here. We are straddling that LAX airspace now, getting ever so close. In fact, yeah, I mean, once we get past the 105 freeway, it's going to get more difficult for all of us, including law enforcement, from what we've been hearing. That's kind of the unprecedented thing, is that there's definitely been times when we've been denied into the airspace, but it's only since last Friday that we've heard incidences where they haven't even been letting law enforcement into the
Yeah.
airspace right now. So potentially some big changes coming with LAX's airspace, and or maybe not this person necessarily, but some of the, let's say, more professional criminals out there. It could just be a matter of time before they find out about that and potentially use that to their advantage.
All right, Des, and we want to welcome our viewers to the news here at 4 o'clock. As you were joining us for CBS LAS 4, we are on breaking news, a pursuit that is underway, that has been underway for about 50 minutes now. This is the pursuit of a shooting suspect.
So we've been monitoring it here from the studio, from the desk as well. Desmond Shaw live in Sky
Oof.
with some crazy moves by this suspect, Des.
Yeah, just bobbing and weaving all over the place, barely dodging some of these cars, getting into bike lanes and stuff. I mean, fortunately, we haven't seen any cyclists out here, and not too many pedestrians as we go by. It looks like a school right there, like Amy was saying. Well, I think the school is mostly out now at this point, so that's good news. But we're only getting into afternoon rush hour here, and as we are through 120th and Budlong Street, and just continuing kind of cruising very dangerously, not super fast, but going through stop signs, not really slowing down, wrong side of the road at a lot of different junctures, and just skirting the LAX airspace here, mostly in the city of Hawthorne and Schoolwood, even though this started in South LA, and still just, LAPD kind of trying to determine what they're going to do to try to stop this, but there's a lot of units on the periphery as well, some of them holding back traffic on some streets to try to make this a little bit more safe for the public, and they definitely want to stay behind this person, a shooting suspect. If they haven't given it up already, they're not likely to give this up until it is all over, guys.
Right now, Mike Rogers also monitoring the situation from the desk. Mike, you're hearing from our viewers as well.
Yeah, we are, and I want to actually bring up a question from Wayne. Wayne is watching us from Idaho. Wayne has a question about the LAPD cars. Why don't LAPD have the push bars, but more importantly, they need to get the grapplers installed? So there's a two-part question. I want to answer that. Not LAPD, close call with the LAPD right there, coming through that intersection. Not every LAPD car has push bars. That doesn't mean they can't do pit maneuvers. That's an important distinction. I, to be honest, don't know why they don't all have push bars. I know some of the newer ones do, some of them don't. But just because it doesn't have push bars doesn't mean they are prohibited from doing pit maneuvers. Every LAPD officer is pit trained. The other question is about the grapplers. Grapplers are something that has kind of been new in law enforcement, and it's this thing that essentially shoots out from underneath the front of the cop car and tangles up the wheels of the rear wheels of the car and brings the car to a slow stop. I have asked our local departments that in the past, the LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, why we don't use those and if there are any plans to use those. And so far, both departments have basically just said we're always looking into it, but right now we don't have them. So not a real clear answer from the departments about why they don't have this. I don't know if it's a cost situation. Obviously, the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department here are very large agencies that have a lot of cop cars. It would cost a lot of money to outfit all of them with that. Wrong side of the road again, coming through the red light there at Western and 132nd. But the push bar question is a good question. Not every LAPD car has push bars, but that doesn't mean they can't do pit maneuvers.
And Mike, wasn't there a time, I remember hearing
Yeah.
of a device that they could, basically electronically, or is that something that?
There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple of there's a couple of things out there. One of the other ones is some agencies were playing with, and I think some have it, where similar to the grappler, where it shoots out of the front of the cop car, it's a tracker that would shoot out with a magnet and attach to the rear of the car. I haven't seen that used as much, and I don't know if there are privacy issues with there. If you're technically tracking a car with GPS, do you need a warrant to do that? I don't know all of the ins and outs of that, but that's a little bit less common with agencies. But I think some of the agencies are starting a little bit more to use those grapplers, but not in the Southern California region at all. I've checked with a couple of them. And just looking at some of the other questions here. But yeah, I mean, basically, they're still doing kind of the traditional pit maneuver spike strips here in Southern California.
And Des, we've been struggling to look inside that car because of the very dark tinted windows, the front and back, as well as the side. But there for a moment, it looked like the sun was kind of shining through. Were you able to get a better look inside that vehicle?
I was not. Unfortunately, the sun is kind of a double-edged sword because it can create a glare on that front windshield, be able to see inside. And we're just kind of going, I think, with the working theory that it is just the suspect in the car, unless there's someone in the rear seats. From what I can see, I couldn't see any evidence of someone in that passenger seat right there. But we're definitely seeing up on the sidewalk again.
Whoa.
This is at least the second or third time, and getting a little bit of distance there between
Yeah.
and I wonder if that's the tactic, taking these little chances here, cutting the corners where they can to try to get some distance. Like we saw some close calls there where they went through an intersection, but LAPD had to slow down to avoid getting in a crash with an innocent driver. But you know what, LAPD, they are still right there back on.
Is the window down?
Oh, yeah.
Throw something.
Hands out.
Oh,
Finger.
sorry about that.
Yeah, it might have been half a peace sign there.
The middle half of the peace sign.
And we know that they had thrown something out the window, according to what we were hearing on the radios earlier. I didn't hear if they were able to recover that. That was, I believe, around 135th and Van Ness. Speaking of, here we are on 135th and Van Ness, right there where the suspect was believed to have thrown that out. So again, just hanging out in the same area. Here we go. This is probably the clearest look we can see, and that passenger seat looks empty. So we're going to go with that it is just the suspect in the car, unless there's anyone hiding in the back seat or something like that. But yeah, 135th here again, and LAPD, they have been very intent on not letting the suspect get any distance here, but lots of risks being taken by the suspect, and none of it paying off so far as getting away from the police on the ground.
And this did start at Imperial in Vermont, where officers did in fact stop this suspect, and he has really stayed in pretty much the same vicinity and hasn't been using excessive speed, but definitely driving reckless through residential streets. We've seen twice now up on the sidewalk, so this is certainly a dangerous pursuit, as they always are. But he hasn't really been in a position for a pit maneuver, but Mike, as you were saying, it's not something that they would be as likely to do because they do know that this is someone who is armed.
Right, is armed, and they again, because they know this, because the car is not just listening. Nobody in the front seat is what the airship is saying. So from what they can tell, is in what Desmond just said. Nobody in the front passenger seat as we go through wrong way through a drive-through. Yeah, nobody in the front passenger seat, but the airship can't see through the back. So they can't see into the back seat to tell if there's anybody through there. And again, as Desmond mentioned, maybe this is what his angle is here. If he can, cut a corner and get just enough distance from the people here, or from the law enforcement here, to get away from what they're doing. I do want to, Amy, because you asked about a pit maneuver, and I want to bring up a question. We'll talk about it at the same time. Alondra asked us something similar. We can show that to you on the screen here in just a second as we come through this intersection. But she texted the desk and says, why haven't you guys used spike strips to stop the pursuit? So obviously a question for law enforcement. But and it's probably the same answer as what we were talking about, Amy, earlier with the pit maneuvers. Because this person is thought to be armed, because the want here is that of a shooting suspect, in order to conduct a pit maneuver or lay out spike strips. If you lay out spike strips, you have to get in front of the car, and that certainly puts officers at risk. Essentially, especially you see that there's going through a red light with a pedestrian walking across. We've seen him try to maneuver around traffic. So the person is not afraid to maneuver away from obstacles in their way, and that would put officers in front of that person, which could put them at risk. That's something they probably don't want to do. Similar answer to a pit maneuver. If you conduct a pit maneuver the right way, you pit the back end of the car, you spin the car around, but then you put the front of the car lined up with the front of the police car, and you put that suspect now facing law enforcement officers, which again puts them at risk. If this person does have a gun, he is a shooting suspect allegedly, you put the officers at that same risk of then being potentially in the way of somebody that is armed, and that's not, for an officer safety standpoint, that's not something they like to do. So wrong side of the road here again to get around traffic at Rosecrans and Prairie, even some pedestrians, lots of cross traffic. Yeah.
The opportunity to get through to try to weave through here. Someone there in the parking lot again, just no one's expecting this. I mean, you've got the lights and sirens. I'm sure out there is probably the only fair warning that anyone has. But we have seen speeds increase a little bit. I saw that the suspect briefly got about 50 miles an hour earlier on Rosecrans as well. So wonder if the suspect's getting even more desperate. It does kind of seem like just taking more and more chances as traffic just continues to pile up on these busy intersections here as rush hour is really in full swing.
And Mike, going back to the spike strips, most of the time it's all about predictability.
Right.
Officers want to kind of get a head start on where the driver might be, set up so they can deploy the spike strips. What we're seeing right here, last minute turns, basically that even makes the spike strips even less of an effective tool to get this pursuit to come to an end.
Right, not only that, but you need a decent stretch of fairly empty road. Not empty necessarily, but when you've got so much traffic, as again, wrong side of the road here coming through that red light, but when you've got so much other traffic on the road, that's also something that the officers have to contend with. They'll have to wait until the very last second to toss the spike out so that they don't accidentally spike, a citizen or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you would think one, especially because we've been in this kind of same area here, that generally would be an option, but unfortunately because of the want and probably all the traffic, that's going to make it harder. And I'll tell you, even if this wasn't a shooting suspect, I think a pit maneuver would still be difficult. Everywhere he has been, there has been a lot of traffic, there's been cars and there's been pedestrians. So even if a pit was an option, I think we would have a hard time finding a spot for them to be able to successfully do that without, undue risk to the public as we kind of come through the stop signs here back into a residential street on 139th and Lamali Avenue. I want to ask Vinny in the booth if we're ready. I want to show you guys my computer. Thanks, Vin. So I want to show this to you because this is the flight track of the helicopters that have been following this. What I've got SkyCal selected here, and you can see we've just essentially only been in this one area the entire time. The orange line is the path that SkyCal has been flying. I'll click on one of the police helicopters and you can get a little bit more kind of direct path, but we've really not ventured very far anywhere outside of between the, south of the 105 and east of the 110, west of the 405. We've been kind of exclusively in that same area. I mean, again, it started up here just near the 110 and the 105 to the northwest corner of that, and then we've come down here, and this is where we've been almost the entire time. So I just wanted to show you that so you could kind of get a visual idea of the area that we've just been kind of circling back and forth.
And Mike, does LAPD still have two choppers above this?
Yeah, they do, and they actually swapped out. So there were, they swapped out, they had two choppers that were over it, and they changed and have two separate choppers that are over it now. I also see a CHP helicopter coming out of Fullerton. So I don't know if I don't imagine CHP would take this over because we're not on a freeway at all, but maybe CHP is just going to come lend, some additional support just in case LAPD has to pull off, or, maybe one LAPD helicopter could go back to patrolling the city and CHP could be their second set of eyes. It's kind of hard to tell because right now, where we're at here, and I'm just looking at the rest of the region, there are no other LAPD helicopters in any other part of the city. The only two that they've got up right now are here with us. This 225 LA and 224 LA are both over this chase at the moment.
And we see this car going back through some of the same,
Yeah.
very similar looking streets, if they're not the exact same. We've seen manicured yards and
Very green grass.
very green grass going through. You see somebody out on the sidewalk there this time around, but really going in the same vicinity as Mike has been showing us with the helicopters as well. But so often when they do this, it's because they're familiar with the area, they're trying to figure out a way to jump out of the car or perhaps get
Yeah.
Now, the LAPD is staying so close to this car, I don't think that it's possible at this point for him to make a run for it and get away or try to jump into another car.
Yeah, at all. I mean, and that's, we see that, when they try to get some distance from the law enforcement to then stop under a bridge or something like that where they've coordinated that. We've not seen, I mean, this guy is certainly, running red lights, driving wrong side of the road. It's dangerous driving, as we see right here, but it's not anything that's, crazy high speeds, crazy, oh, that car just stopped as soon as I say this. But yeah, I mean, that's why this is still very, very dangerous.
That was scary.
Yeah. And that's the thing, people, especially at night, you can see the flashing lights. In the daytime, a lot of times people have the radio up, they don't hear
Yeah,
the sirens,
right.
they don't see the lights coming because it is, so bright out, and so they're really caught off guard when this car comes barreling through. No idea that a pursuit's underway, but here it is, right there on them.
They're right there on near 80, and I just want to mention here as well. This is the first we've heard from the tactical flight officer who is up there right now. Who, by the way, just in my opinion, I recognize this guy's voice. He's like the most elite of LAPD's tactical flight officers, and he's recognizing the pattern as well, and he's calling for spike strips.
There you go.
Some units down there to coordinate at different areas to get down there and see if they can finally bring this spectacle to an end. And I say that because it is turning into a spectacle. But back there, we were by what looked like a warehouse or something, and there was a group of like a dozen guys that were out there taking pictures and seeing that. Because again, we've got a bunch of helicopters up here. We have a lot of lights and sirens that everyone can hear. The suspect just continues to go through these neighborhoods, and the longer that it goes on, the more dangerous it gets with people that want to come out and get a little bit too close to some of these pursuits, in addition to all of the vehicles that are beginning to crowd the roadway more and more by the minute here. So we'll see if they're able to do that, if they're able to deploy a spike strip, and hopefully that could, at the very least, slow the suspect down. And look at now, we're up to almost 50 miles an hour here on some of these smaller streets. So the suspect getting desperate, and you kind of wonder too if they did deploy a spike strip, how would the suspect react to that? Sometimes that makes them kind of freak out even more and begin to take even more chances. So it's always kind of tough to say, but we'll see if they're able to deploy that and kind of recognize the patterns that the suspect is taking here around the same area that we've been pretty much for the entirety of the pursuit.
And Mike Rogers on the desk, are you hearing that too now that there's a bit of a predictability on where he's staying, that spike strips could now come into play?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, those officers will have to get ahead of them, as Desmond mentioned, to try to get that situated. But yeah, I mean, we've been through these same neighborhoods over and over and over again. So LAPD is going to look for an area that will put them at least risk to try to do that, behind a car, behind a wall, something like that, where they'll have some cover to be able to toss those spike strips out here. Ideally, if they could get it, it would be good on a neighborhood road like this, where there's less traffic. And at this point, there's not a lot of people out and about right now. So, oh, there we go. That's the unit. I wonder if that unit was trying to get him in place. I don't think they were able to, though, right, Des?
Yeah, they weren't able to. He wasn't on that side of the road, but that looks like that's exactly what that was. The first that we've seen of that is a spike strip. So they're going to be getting out there and coordinating some of those units that have been on the periphery of the pursuit, just kind of trying to stay, out of sight of the suspect, but in a place where they could, take advantage of that and try to kind of blindside the suspect with a spike strip. So they will see if they're able to deploy that as this continues to drag on. Out of the El Segundo Western, another super busy intersection, wrong side driving to avoid the stop traffic here on South El Segundo.
Yeah, right now, going pretty fast there on those middle turn lanes. And he got really lucky just a second ago before he made that right-hand turn. There was no traffic in that lane, and he was able to just breeze right through there in heavy traffic at a stoplight and make this right-hand turn and continue right now at West El Segundo and South Denver Avenue. Again, still staying in the Inglewood area. This is a possible shooting suspect. The LAPD has had their eyes on for quite a bit. In fact, we came on the air a little bit early here to bring this breaking news to you, happening right now in Inglewood.
And for those that are just joining us at a little after 4, this has been going on for just a little more than an hour. Again, the pursuit of a shooting suspect that started at about 3:11. This was at Imperial and Vermont. Officers found pursuit for a little more than an hour. We've seen a lot of reckless and very aggressive driving, but not a lot of high speeds. But certainly these officers have not been in a position to do a spike strip or do a pit maneuver. We have watched this driver on the wrong side of the road, on the sidewalk at times, and really just staying in the same vicinity. Looks like we're getting right back to some of those houses with the nice green grass that we were talking about, Juan, and right back in that same area.
So it's an area most likely he's familiar with, and maybe this is going to help officers set up spike strips because as Mike was telling us and Des was telling us, the helicopter pilots with LAPD have noticed that similar pattern where he's staying in this area here. But what's the end game here? Why is he doing this? On the right side of your screen, you're seeing some of that reckless driving that Amy was talking about just a few moments ago. But what is the end game here? Why not pull over? Because eventually he will get caught. But again, just doing such crazy maneuvers, cutting corners here, cutting through parking lots. He went through a drive-through the wrong way. Everything to try to create some sort of distance from the LAPD. But you can see there, that one unit behind him, Mike, has not basically left the rear bumper of that car always right behind.
Yeah, and Des, if you can get just a little closer on that, I want to make sure it's the same one. A shop 890, I believe, is the back of that. Or was that 990? Okay, yeah. So that's been the same shop, that the same LAPD patrol car that has been with him the entire time, right on his tail. And that's because we haven't changed areas, right? This is not an LAPD's jurisdiction. I know our screen says Inglewood, but I want to be clear, we're not in Inglewood. We're south of, well, we're getting kind of close to the 105 here, but we're still not in Inglewood. We're more Athens, just east of Hawthorne Airport here. But yeah, that same LAPD unit has been the one chasing him for the entirety of this. And we're kind of, watching that, and this guy's just continuing right in this same neighborhood. Now, okay, I want to address, we've gotten a lot of questions about why aren't they using certain tactics? Why aren't they using this? They'll text the desk. I want to show you this one. And there's a Twitch streamer that is watching us and streaming our feed right now. His name is XQC on Twitch. And one of the questions that he is telling viewers to text me and ask, which I've gotten a lot of this, why don't the police shoot the tires? Again, that's a very, only in movies. It's a very common thing that people ask during chases. It's just not something you're going to see. I will tell you, in very, very rare circumstances, and only in the Inland Empire, and only once since I've been here, we did one time see the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department shoot out of a helicopter at the suspect. That was pretty wild. I've not seen them do that again. I've seen them give clearance to do it again, but they haven't done it since. But that's just not something you're going to see. It's way too dangerous. The car is moving. The officers are moving. You very easily could miss. It could ricochet. It could hit somebody on the side. It's just very impractical to be able to do that, especially why this is moving. Another question somebody asked is, why don't they block the streets? Why don't you put a bunch of cop cars in front of the guy? Again, that's an officer safety risk. It's a public safety risk. If that guy decides he wants to blow through the cop cars and slam into them, that's something else they're not going to do. So the LAPD, all law enforcement agencies have certain tactics they are allowed to employ and do during these chases, most commonly spike strips and pit maneuvers. And as you heard from Des, they'd like to try to set up spikes. We saw potentially one that was going to, and I think I may hear it again, going to be employed here, or deployed rather, but they hadn't been able to get there in time, it didn't look like, to make it effective.
I have to say, I'm pretty surprised how open this roadway
Yeah.
is right here at 420 on a Wednesday afternoon. Surprisingly open here on El Segundo Boulevard. We have been seeing more traffic, but getting off of that roadway, again, going through a parking lot, alleyway, this is something we've been seeing multiple times through this pursuit today.
And, one of the things too with this area, and I mentioned it earlier, and it's just, it doesn't really seem like there's really any dead ends on
Yeah.
the side of or this deep in the LA basin. Everything is just like a very effective grid. Everything is flat. There's no railroad tracks down here. They can get in the way of things kind of like there are up in the San Fernando Valley, far away from freeways where there's not going to be any dead ends. So it just seems like, left, right, no matter where the suspect goes or any alley they take, they're able to get through a thoroughfare, and there hasn't been a wrong turn for the suspect to take where they're going to, trap themselves
And the other reason too, guys, the reason that they're going to have a little bit more difficult of a time setting up spikes here is they're not in their area. They're not in the city of Los Angeles. So if they were in the city of LA, even if they were in a different division, you would have units that were already in that division or even a neighboring division that would be able to come in and assist and drop spikes ahead of them. But they are not in the city. They're not in the city of LA. So what you're dealing with is you're dealing with officers that are already a part of this pursuit that need to break off, try to get around him, come in front of him, figure out where he's going to go, and then try to drop the spikes. The LAPD airship is certainly trying to coordinate that, but it's not as easy when you're not in your city with more resources, more cops that can respond to this. Passenger side window down now. You see him motion his hands around there, Des. Nobody in the passenger seat, just like we said.
Yep, yeah, some hand motioning going on, and, earlier we saw him motioning out the window to officers as well. Windows have been up and down. It's like only the second time that the windows have been down, but just, aimlessly continuing through this area, it just kind of seems like, well, let's see if this alleyway is going to go through here. Tons of apartments. It looks like this could potentially be a dead end. Let's see here. Try to close in here.
That's the river, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so here's one of the few places where they could go into a dead end. So, wondering if this is
Driver's door's open.
suspect lives. So yeah, we've got a wash right there, and
Driver's door is open, though.
we are. So yeah, there was another vehicle there in the alleyway as well. But yeah, so finally, after all that, making a wrong turn, and kind of what I suspected, I think they were just kind of dragging this out as long as they possibly could, realizing the inevitability of everything, and just, I don't know, trying to enjoy one more Southern California here before going away for an unknown amount of time. But after all that, all those close calls, all those chances taken, making a turn here at a dead-end alley, hands out, and looks like they will be surrendering to officers.
Yeah, it looks like it's hands out, and he's listening to officers right now, getting out of the car. Something dropped out of his lap. There might have been his cell phone, right, Mike?
Yeah, cell phone I think is what Des was seeing too.
This is certainly one of those times when you're worried about this person having a weapon.
That's right.
And certainly want to keep a very close eye on his hands right now.
His hands, and remember, they haven't had eyes in the back seat. We've got no reason to believe that there's anybody back there, but the LAPD helicopter was clear that they could only see the passenger seat in the front. So they're also going to want to make sure that there is nobody in the back of the car as well. I mean, the best scenario is that he's out of the car though, so LAPD has control of the situation. They're obviously giving him commands, step away from the car. Last thing they want him to do is be able to jump back in it. They'll ask him to walk back, get on his knees, and then you'll see what's called an arrest team. So you'll see a group of officers come in. They'll take him into custody. You'll have a separate group of officers that will remain with their guns trained on the car until they can clear that car.
And that prone position right there, obviously, it's probably the safest for officers.
Yep.
His legs are spread now. They're going to be moving in and bringing him into custody. And Mike, you think one person, you may need one or two officers, but a whole team is going to go in there to make sure he gets into custody safely, right?
Yeah, you'll see 3 or 4 officers move up on him, and you've got the officers on the right. Shop 990 right there. The officers to the left will be the ones that will go in and put him in handcuffs. And then on the right, you see them, they're moving up right now. They're going to clear the car. You've got a couple with lethal, and you've got a green strap there. That's the less lethal 40 millimeter foam launcher. So they'll have that as well, just in case. And you'll have additional units that will come in and make sure they'll pop the trunk. You got one cop, if you look to the right, he's also keeping cover to the right side in case anybody pops out of that apartment complex there. Because again, there's probably reason to believe that this guy is either lives in this area or knows somebody in this area, considering the amount of time that he's spent in this area.
And they're probably asking him questions too, right, Mike? While he's face down.
Yeah,
If there's other weapons or anything that could harm the officers in the car, anybody else in the car.
right. And we'll see that. Hopefully they'll be able to, you probably got to open the trunk from the driver's side, so somebody will have to come over and do that. Hopefully they can see through the window with that close, although those windows are pretty dark, so we'll see what they're able to do. But somebody will move up, or a couple officers will move up and take the guy into custody, and then they'll be able to clear the car and hopefully be done with this. Here, yep.
Officer,
Yep.
undrawn,
Yeah.
just in case.
Certainly don't rush through this part of the
Right.
pursuit, even though to us it may look like it's over. They have to be very cautious
Yeah.
at this stage.
And you got a couple detectives there. So the bottom side of your screen between shop 387 and 990, you've got the guy in the khaki, and then you've got the guy in the jacket, and here comes another one. So I would guess that this is somebody that is well known to them, and that's why you've got detectives that are already on scene. It's pretty quick for detectives to be here if they weren't already investigating this person for somebody. So it's possible that the shooting is something that detectives have already been looking into, and they were notified that, you know, Southeast Patrol was in pursuit of their guy, and that's why they showed up to the scene here.
Mike, we kind of missed the shot, but do we know what brought this to an end? He just gave up?
He just pulled in, yeah. I mean, he just came in and came to a stop. I think, you know, as if you pan up, there's nothing there. You got a fence there. So I think his options were blow through that fence. Yeah, blow through that fence or try to get out and run. But I think, you know, LAPD made it pretty evident that there are a ton of people here ready to take him into custody. So he probably just realized it's not worth it and called it a day.
Yeah, seven patrol cars.
Yeah.
That one shooting suspect.
Absolutely, but this is really the best way that it could end with him
Oh, yeah.
stopping. There were no crashes involved in this pursuit that went, you know, almost an hour and a half, and no real incidents there. And of course, they will go back and try to figure out what was thrown from that car earlier in the pursuit, and certainly this is a great way to go.
Despite
Yeah.
the reckless driving, nobody was hurt. Suspect is now in custody. We're going to send our KCAL viewers back to regular programming. Meantime, CBS LA News at 4 on Channel 2 continues right now.
All right, we want to check in about the weather because, you know, between swift water rescues, uprooted trees, road damage, and heavy mountain snow, the storms have kept first responders busy across SoCal.
Sure has. The next weather alert still in effect with more rain on the horizon for us. Michelle Geely live in Fullerton where the storm took down several trees, hitting some homes. Michelle.
Okay. Hi, YouTube. I can address you now that we're done with this. David said, why not use drones to drop spikes? LAPD is not in a position to do that at this point. The drones that they have are responding to 911 calls, that kind of thing. I am going to answer some people because I know you guys were watching me while I was doing this. So here's the camera you're looking at. What I'm looking at over here is a monitor of the actual helicopter that's looking at things. Here, though, I have my police scanner. So this is what I was listening to during the chase. It's all gray now because there's not as much activity, but you can see it's, I don't know if you can read that, but it's locked in on Southeast LAPD. So that's where the pursuit was being called. So I was listening to that. I have it on this monitor and this monitor, but over here, this is where I'm tracking the aircraft. So these are LAPD helicopters that were with this. That's a CHP one. This is our helicopter, that's SkyCal. So it gives us an idea of kind of where they're at. And you can see we've just basically stayed south of the 105, east of the 110, and west of the 405 for almost the entire duration of that chase. So now that that's over, because it went so long, I'm not in the 4 again, but I'm going to be in the 5, and I'm going to be doing this chase for the top of our 5 o'clock show. So now I'm going to get that ready for 5.
Tree branches came through Vicky Aguilar's roof, punching a hole through the ceiling in her foster daughter's bedroom. The branch narrowly missed the 16-year-old who was asleep a few feet away.
We were blessed, I'll tell you, that nobody got hurt, and that was all the damage to the property.
One street away on West Avenue, Hastings Deanna's truck was crushed.
Walked out here about 6:05 in the morning, saw this large tree, fucking tree, and I thought, oh, that cannot be my truck. And it was my truck.
Another massive tree fell early this morning into a Fullerton home about a half-mile away. But this time it wasn't a Chinese elm, but a 40-foot tall pine tree.
I was asleep. I heard what sounded like a wind building up or a train, and it just kept building up for about 5 seconds, and all of a sudden it was a boom, and the whole house shook.
Rashad Sharif says he'd already gone to bed, but normally would have been on the couch in the living room. That's right where the tree came through the roof into the attic. Photos show the damage where the ceiling collapsed. Pieces of wood and drywall littered the front part of his house.
And that's why I found Fullerton Tree, that Honda Accord in the truck next to it. Now that the tree is gone, we can actually see the car and the truck, of the owners who are standing right here say there isn't a scratch on either one of
Hey, Ziggy. Hey, Ziggy, it's Mike at CBS LA. How are you, sir? I'm good. Hey, we're looking into, apparently you guys are investigating a death along a bike trail or a river. Thank you. Hang on one second. Hey, let me call you back. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
More rain on the way. Michelle, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
A driver swept away by floods and they can only pass late last night and found dead.
Yes, sir. I'm always here.
Tried to cross flooded Kenbrook Road around 11:30 in Fontana. Firefighters arrived
Okay.
and found the man standing on the roof of a truck surrounded by rushing water. They tried to reach him, but the fast-moving water shifted the truck. He fell into the floods and was swept away.
Okay.
His body was spotted for
basically natural terrain feature of our area, and the debris that moves through the area, the speed at which it moves, makes it a
Okay.
threatening situation where it's moving rapidly.
We've learned there were actually 3 people in the truck when it was washed away. The other 2 did manage to get to safety. It's been dry for most of the day today, but as we've been saying, don't let that.
Okay, so she was deceased.
The next storm headed our
Okay. Any indication of foul play or anything like that? Okay. Gotcha. And what part of Peters Canyon? North of Barranca. Okay. Okay, got it. Oh, I see it right there. Okay. So north of Barranca, in between Warner. Okay, and then any specifics on her? Is she homeless or anything like that? Okay. Adult female. Got it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. That's my cell. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on to it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Did not tell the truth in that congressional hearing. It does not match any of the internal documents that we are now seeing, and he's not able to answer those questions now.
Is this the one the bus hit?
Now in for an advocate for the plaintiff in the landmark social media trial blasts Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg took the stand in Los Angeles Superior Court today.
Is this the poll that the school bus hit earlier?
Plaintiffs and their parents allege that social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are addictive and harmful to kids and teens.
Hey, is this the bus or the poll the school bus hit earlier? Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye.
saying the began with about 3 years old, the goal was to improve time spent, adding that's what is relevant.
A trial like this one will hopefully uncover the disconnect between what companies say publicly to drive up business and engagement and what is actually going on behind the scenes.
Back outside the courthouse, advocates and family members of those who have struggled with social media's impact held hands in solidarity.
The intention of the company was to prey on teens, use teens' usage, exploit them so they can make greater profits.
In a statement to CBS News, Meta says it strongly disagrees with the allegations, citing its commitment to supporting young people with built-in protections. YouTube parent
This is Mike.
says the allegations and
Hey.
complaints are simply not true. With on-governor CBS News, Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Up next, could artificial intelligence wipe out humanity?
A scientist
To verify.
sounded the alarm
Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
he has as countries
Yeah,
struggle to
absolutely.
engage in
Thank you, sir.
AI
Okay, bye.
Plus, the final destination moment, the family's close call that may leave you gripping your steering wheel extra tight when the next storm hits. Okay. And Mike, do you know what Matt Graham's cell phone is? Or what
Yeah, it's
you don't mind?
yeah.
I'm gonna tell. I've already started this whole email thing with the box, the quad box and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It went to Mumby. It went. I mean, it's apparently some.
It should be Julio.
It went to Julio.
Okay.
There's some equipment that blew up when they
Ah.
lost cable, so now they're getting like approval to get a new equipment. I'm like, why don't you just switch? Like, I'm looking at this 9 box.
Yeah.
4, 5, 7, and 11 are up there, but we're not.
Yeah.
And there's a CNN, a Fox News.
I'm gonna text it to you because we're still on the stream, so I don't want to give it out over the.
Oh, please
Yeah.
text it to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm heading to the tower, Ben. I'm just gonna hop over there. Thank you. Here.
Okay.
And Mike, thanks for texting me that, although I just forgot when I.
That's okay. There you go. I just sent that to you.
Guthrie?
Yeah.
It's been 18 days now since Nancy Guthrie disappeared, and several promising leads have not yet led to her or the suspect. The FBI says the DNA found in a glove matching the ones worn by the suspect seen on surveillance video did not turn up any hits in their federal DNA database.
Hey, Des, while you're down there, H58 from CHP is up over the I think it's the 405. Will you just see if they're doing anything exciting?
There's opportunity maybe to do some genealogy work with it, but there's more DNA work that needs to be done.
Another lead the FBI is following, the backpack worn by the man in the video was sold exclusively at Walmart. Authorities also are investigating local gun stores, trying to determine where the suspect may have bought the gun and holster seen in that video.
Well, hundreds of billions of dollars are flowing into AI, with countries and companies racing to invest.
And Chopper, are you able to hear me here on frequency 1?
In artificial intelligence are on display at a summit in India, with tech CEOs competing to build super smart AI systems. But a top scientist is raising concerns, warning an arms race risks
Chopper assignment desk on frequency 1.
To answer questions, to make a decision, to make a plan. Daniel really gives you an answer. Literally, you are turning someone into less than a human being. Well, UC Berkeley professor Stuart Russell says governments around the world need to understand the dangers of AI and make sure companies develop it safely.
Still to come at 4, a rising risk along our shoreline. A deep dive into why local beachgoers are being urged to stay out of the water.
Plus, CBD is often targeted to help people with pain and sleep, but could it also benefit our four-legged friends?
Arturo, will you come here really quickly? Thank you. On the back of my box right here is the power cord. Can you unplug it for me? I think it's on this side. You have to twist and pull. Yes, we're streaming right now on YouTube.
We're doing that over at we've been doing that with Stay Tuned for a while.
Oh yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's only a Gotti thing.
Hang on.
He's in Italy now.
Okay, good.
Main mic, right?
Are you plugging back in?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Hi.
Long time no see.
Yeah, just popped in for some training.
Nice.
Now I know keep my phone in airplane mode.
Will you two be running the gym?
No. No cameras.
Okay, no cameras. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm straight off the big one.
Hey, am I here? In Northern California, very scary moment for a Vegas family. Part of the tree went right into their windshield. It happened in the Hawthorne. County says the family was driving from Palo Alto when that tree just went right through the glass on the passenger side. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. Out of the vehicle, but
Hey, sir. How are you?
This week's heavy rains triggered a
Okay.
meltdown.
Okay.
To avoid the water at all LA County beaches until at least Saturday morning. CBS LA
Got it. Okay. It just was a suspicious search. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Ziggy. Appreciate you. Take care. Bye.
Surfer Patrick Johnson is one of the handful of surfers we spotted in the water near Santa Monica, despite warnings about this week's murky storm runoff. Has it ever made you sick?
Yes. 20 years ago, I got sick, but
Hey, Trevor, do you have me on frequency 1? Hey, if you can, H58 is just to your northwest, near, what's that, 91. Will you just make sure they're not doing anything we care about?
She says during big rain events, trash, pet waste,
Cabin, thank you.
Statement and is flushed into the ocean. Bacteria levels tend to spike for about 72 hours. So anyone who comes into contact with the water, especially near discharging storm drains, could get sick.
Eye infections, ear infections, skin rashes. If it gets into like your mouth or your nose at all, for those who are out swimming or surfing, that can cause gastrointestinal illnesses.
Making matters worse, most says right now, pollutants are still washing down from burn swaps.
Even fire impacts are mostly going to work their way through the LA River watershed and down kind of by the Long Beach area. So for the Santa Monica Bay, the Palisades fire area is the main concern there for water quality.
The nonprofit believes in the long term, LA County needs more stormwater capture projects, so water can be cleaned before it discharges into the ocean. Now they're helping collect data and posting beach report cards online, so beachgoers can make informed choices.
We translate it to an A through F grade so that people can really understand, A or B grades, swims, C, D, or F, risk is increasing.
I'm just gonna go take a shower right now. I think it's clean water. I try not to inject anything as much as possible. And well, there's barrels.
Hey Dave, it's Mike. How are you? Hey, has anybody said that they're having placeholder issues? Okay. No, it's okay. Yeah, I couldn't. One wouldn't like I made one and it wouldn't go, but I just redid it and it looks like it's fine now. So okay, thanks. All right.
Gila Bay has a beach cleanup set for this weekend at Zuma Beach and needs volunteers. We put a link to their site where you can learn more about all their programs. Head over to CBSLA.
Well, more and more people are using CBD, and now pets are doing the same. Data from the Dog Aging Project found that more than 55% of dog owners reported some aggressive behaviors in their pets. Researchers also found a link between canines becoming less aggressive after taking pet products for at least 2 years. But one specialist is urging people not to run out and get CBD for the pets. She says further studies really need to be done.
And I can tell you right now, as a specialist, it is never going to be a treatment alone.
I really find that that in complement to a very thorough, consistent training program.
Hey, his board or our board? I don't see it in his board.
Online, CBD products are a potential tool, but not a quick fix.
Winter
Oh,
weather
I see.
roller coaster continues here.
No, I didn't say anything to him.
Today, but another storm is coming.
I swear to God, I didn't, because I went to look in his board to tell him where to look, and yeah.
Next round of weather, and when we
What are
need
they
to
saying?
pull out those umbrellas again.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Right. Oh. From here, I'm assuming. I can't. Do we have a login for Chronicle? I don't. Keeper. Okay. Bye. All right. I'm so behind. Yeah.
I will. Okay.
see you at 5, Pat. So we come here, lights, camera, AI.
Many applicants turning to artificial intelligence to get that perfect headshot of themselves, but is it actually helping them land a job?
What did Mike tell you?
Yep, half the show was in pursuit.
That a Twitch streamer was streaming us.
You see that pursuit?
Yeah, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Wow.
I thought that was some it's okay.
There was some couple around 3 Twitch. As if I didn't watch Twitch streams all throughout my life.
Oh, is that short?
No, my sister brought it for me for Christmas.
I have that
She
here
gets
when I'm
discounts, so she's imagining. So she gets discounts, so whenever I see like a product I want, I send her a picture and like, you did this.
Who's your Disney connection? She works there?
How many viewers this time, man?
I don't know yet, because there's different ways that they see it, so I don't know.
Let's go check. Let's see if
And I think we're still streaming.
you had a person on digital that you're friends with.
I try not to talk to that guy.
Interview or tower? Yeah, we interview or tower.
22 people were concurrently watching right now.
Lovely. Let's see.
I think someone called me cute.
What do they know?
They said, who is this cutie?
From the IFB? Oh, it's the thing that straps it.
Getting a great picture of yourself has gotten easier and cheaper, all thanks to AI.
Yes, and as CBSLA's Evan Moon tells us, experts say the AI-generated headshot market is really booming, but there are some things to watch out for.
I've had friends who've
From a
done this.
lens to a laptop, headshots are getting a high-tech makeover as artificial intelligence changes what it means to get camera ready. A recent study found 44% of people would consider using an AI photo of themselves. It's fast, it's simple, it's cost-effective. We spoke with Sam DeMace, a career expert at ZipRecruiter, about using AI-generated portraits professionally. You risk the idea of photo catfishing. AI tools can cause a rubbery or plastic-like effect on your skin.
Yes,
A poorly edited AI headshot is going to trigger a lack of trust.
Hey, Jackie. Hey, J40 is going to have 2 supers in it. I'll call for the second super.
Peter Hurley has been capturing faces for over 25 years and wrote a book called The Headshot.
I want to get the real you. I want to get the real person. I want to give them a headshot that they're proud of. I want to stand. There's no time for that.
Hurley says people have come to him after trying AI, describing the results as stale.
I think everybody's sick of AI.
We reached out to LinkedIn about the trend. The spokesperson said, we recommend being authentic in your profile picture as this helps maintain trust. We do allow the use of tools including AI to enhance or create profile photos. However, the photo must reflect your likeness. LinkedIn can remove photos that don't comply with their policies. Still, Sam DeMace said AI headshots can be a bargain compared to studio sessions that can cost hundreds of dollars. If you don't have the free income to hire a photographer, having the option to use AI to help you make a headshot is going to make a higher paying job. That does democratize the process. Give an AI platform multiple real photos to work with. Use a clean background and double check the details. Evan Moon, CBS News, New York.
Thanks for watching CBSLA at 4.
CBSLA at 5 starts right now.
Now at 5, the cleanup is on.
Hey.
SoCal neighborhoods hit by storms.
Hi.
Racing to remove debris before the next round arrives.
Make a mention. Okay, thank you. Bye. All right, YouTube, that's it. It's 5 o'clock. We've got other stuff to do, so we're going to sign off. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Chad.
Mark Zuckerberg takes the stand in LA, the questions he faced in the landmark social media trial.
This is CBS LA.